turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Welcome to our live Pittsburgh Sportsline TV show in the BP TV studios right here in Bethel Park. Thank you for watching us only on Comcast 7 in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between in the greater Pittsburgh area. Thank you for all the likes on Facebook. I think we hit a new high, 6927. I told a few people that we're trying to get up to 7,000. So if you tell friends and thank anybody for watching our show right now. My catcher from Little League in Keystone Oaks and Green Tree, Greg Kirby, is watching us. So you better straighten up, guys. And Smoking Jim, please don't talk negative about Green Tree. We're very defensive about that. And look, I brought a young man here, Nick Callis from Green Tree. Tell him what street you live on.
Forest.
Thank you.
Drive.
Right in.
I got a story about Green Tree today too. I'm going to tell later on during my.
Tell it at the family reunion, cousin.
We're not related. Smoking Jim, not.
Come on, say it again. You haven't said the word in a while. Say it.
Not
Starts with an N. Say it.
I'll say it. For some reason, Smoking Jim thinks if you live in a community, you're related, and it's nepotism. He's dead wrong. But we'll carry on. I have some promos here to put up. First off, we got A2 on camera. Anthony's on vacation, first time in a year. Smoking Jim doesn't understand the concept, so I'll make it simple to him. Anybody in America can take a vacation from whatever they're doing. Like you would take a vacation from doing nothing.
No. Smoking Jim's just gonna take a vacation away from reality.
And I got to give a shout out to Smoking Jim's latest business partner, who was business partner last year, and he's put a couple other in there, but I won't share that with London. So we have London in our control room, and we're not sure what number of business partners he has, but I will share this. Aaron Ward from BPTV was his first official business partner, and she said to say hi to him a few weeks ago. But getting back to Olive Oil's Pizzeria, right here at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Frank Finero said hi to Smoking Jim, and he goes, Smoking Jim, I know you don't date anybody, but out of your 3,000 sweeties that you post every week, could I go out with one of them? And he said to say hi to Smoking Jim. Now, the show's not all about Smoking Jim, but he leaves a wide trail of, I'll say, information. But Olive Oils has great pizza, hoagies, Italian food, desserts, you name it. Hold it. Anthony Veltri just said, I'm still watching the show. Shout out to Anthony, who doesn't have a hair out of place in Meadville. So he's doing very well there.
How do you get Wi-Fi in the middle of the wilderness?
Hey, Nick, we'll do a little subject. Explain to Smoking Jim about a hotspot.
So yeah, there's this thing called service in your phone that gives you internet through your phone provider, and there are towers that are placed through places that can spread hundreds of miles in between each other.
Tell it to Bill Neal.
I feel like I tried to I tried to. Anyway, that's not for
Hey,
now.
Nick, I apologize for introducing you to Smoking Jim. And I'm sorry that I couldn't help you with that partnership that Smoking Jim sucked you into.
Oh, I get paid. That's all that matters.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. Congratulations. All right, check out Olive Oil's Pizzeria, and they're just great. Check them out. Next, I have a 501c3. Always Be Smiling. This nice couple that I met, Kristen and Dean, their son Bennett who they named it, they called him B. He was always a happy kid. He had some disabilities, had 2 kidney transplants, died at 16 and a half years old this past year. They started Always Be Smiling. And I want to thank everybody. I've been asking people to like the page. We're up over 800 likes on their page from the high 600s. So thanks to all my friends and fans for liking this page. Special announcement that if you're watching this tomorrow, I do the Alan Levine Talking Machine show. Kristen and Dean, the founders and the parents of B, are going to be on my show tomorrow at 2 o'clock for a half-hour show. They'll be explaining Always Be Smiling's events and things that they do in the community to help others. So they're just a great group. And if you can like their page, please do it. Thank you.
I'm proud of you, champ.
Which champ?
You.
Oh, thanks. You were looking at Nick. We end each show. Look at A2 on this. Unbelievable what he's doing. A2's on fire. We end every show with Stay Joey Strong in honor of the young man Joey, who died at 8 years old before his 9th birthday 6 years ago. His family lost their 2nd child, and it was just a shame. He had DIPG, the dreaded brain cancer. That's a death sentence. They get diagnosed and they're dead within a year. I met the doctor that they've given over $100,000 at research at Children's Hospital to try to find a cure or a treatment at least to help keep these kids alive. And I talked to Dr. Gary, and he said there are some things that are coming up that are showing great potential to help with DIPG. So that's great news. And a shout out to the Fabus family and all they do. And please stay Joey strong. Next up, another 501c3. We'll see how A2 does on this. It's a little slow on Facebook. Look at this. Bam, he got it. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. They were just doing gutters the last couple weeks. They're putting up new gutters on the 1905 school. Has 107 new windows, a new roof, a new cupola. The old bell originally went from the high school back to the roof, and that's where the cupolas are located, Smokin' Jim. He doesn't really understand that, but it's like a little roofed area, and the bell is in it, and it rings. It actually works. They have a dance center there. They have an artist. They have uniforms of the wars. They have a class book library, and they have Reginald's Coffee, one of my favorite tea places. Right inside, they have fresh roasted tea that they use on their roaster, and it's green coffee that they get from all over the world, and they roast it. And many friends of mine have said, don't waste your time at Starbucks, go to Reginald's Coffee. So if you're in the area, join most of my friends that go there, including me, and enjoy it. They have Wi-Fi for people like Smokin' Jim, who are always working at nothing, but he does a good job at it, so check it out. And Bill Habather put up a special 1-minute video of the haunted house at the Historical Society's park house there. So you have to check it out. He did a great job with a 1-minute film. You got to check it out. Bill Habather. All right. We're on a streak, another 501c3. We'll see what A2 does on this one. Anthony corrected that he's at Pymatuming Lake, and they have good service, Smokin' Jim. They bounce everything off the water because all the carp are near the surface, so they can bounce the signal off the heads of the carp. Just had to share that.
Are you sure that's carp on the surface?
Well, from when I was up there, I saw the carp. The other stuff below, you could move the R around.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I understand where you're coming from.
Transposing some letters.
I was juvenile at one time like that, Chip, so I understand.
I'm always going to be juvenile like that, Alan. Don't you ever forget.
I understand. Go to bpcf.org. They have money and grants for you. Anybody doing good things with their group in the area. We have $100 to $5,000 there. I'm a trustee on the board till the end of December, then my term extinguishes. Smoking Jim, I won't be there anymore. Wow. But I'll still promote them. You can only serve a couple terms in a row, and then they get other people in the community on there.
That's only fair.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. We appreciate your endorsement. Why aren't you fair with the Hall of Fame, the City League Hall of Fame? I rest my case. But they've given out over $1 million in 25 years, so get an application there. All right, next up, we got another great group in business, Senior Helpers. They're in right on Broughton Road, caddy corner from Walgreens. You can't miss them, right off of 88, first right at that light. You call 412-851-3223, talk to Jeff, and you can get help for yourself, for other older parents, grandparents, whatever you may have. They can help you. They even help veterans. And just remember this number, 412-851-3223. Great new business in Bethel Park. So I like promoting businesses also, and just check them out. Nice facility, and they help people, which we need in our areas and the way these times are. Next up, this friend of mine asked, could we help her get a kidney donor? God bless her, she got a kidney donor. She can't tell us, but it's a perfect match for her. Her kidney function is 16%. When it goes down to 15% like mine was, she'll be on the transplant list, and then we'll find out who her donor was, if we helped her or maybe somebody else told her by hearing it on our show. So she thinks we helped, so I thank you, Kathleen. She's supposed to take it easy, so I hope you're doing well, Kathleen. So take care, and thanks for watching our show. Next up, we got the great sheet that Anthony Veltri that's watching us at Pymatuming, and Smoking Jim's heard of it. He's never been there because he doesn't know about football up in that area, so we'll have to see what he comes up with. Give a call if you want to tell them Uncle Al sent you to BPTV. I want you for BPTV. Be a volunteer today, like Nick, like A2, like A1, like Ryan. And London's just watching Ryan run the whole show. So how's he doing, folks? We look pretty good. And A2 knocked it out of the park. Look at what he did on this. And that's with me looking like Uncle Sam. All right, we're going to test A2. A lot of stress on me to get this card out. I packed it in. We have another sponsor of What's on Our Mind. I'll try to hold this steady, and we'll see what A2 comes up with. All right. I'm looking down. You can see me. Bang! 6103 Library Road, Route 88, Finleyville. Red, white, and blue station. No gas pumps, but they work on anything and everything that runs on gas. It's Skeets Service Station, owned by Skeets Lewandowski. His father Butch founded it, and he got a great mother Mimi, just great people there. And they even work on electronic things, hedge trimmers, you name it, electrical tools. They fix everything. Give them a call at 724-348-4715. What a shot that Anthony A2 got on this. He's ready to go out on his own. He graduated from PTL, and look at him, what he's doing on camera.
Yeah.
And how about Ryan there? Let's see what he can do next.
Graduated from where?
Poor Smoking Jim. London's here,
I thought we
Smoking
put
Jim.
this to rest last week.
Smoking Jim, London's here. Please don't embarrass yourself in front of London. And Skeets sponsors What's on Your Mind. So we got to go to Smoking Jim, who didn't start to eat yet. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There it is.
You got to see Levine. I'm your Manny Sanguine, and I'm your next catcher, brother. You can add me to the list.
Let me explain. You've been catching a pen for 10 years.
You dropped it a few times.
You only
tonight,
dropped
too.
it like 3 times. You can't compare to Greg Kirby and Little League. Unbelievable catcher, buddy. He didn't miss anything.
I'm not the greatest. I'm just the latest, brother. I'm
No,
the catcher now.
No, you aren't even on the. You're not even in the game. You're only on TV, and everybody knows we stage all this stuff.
Yeah.
We
it's
practice.
all scripted, right?
We practice all this.
That's what everybody thinks.
And he's like Lester Hayes over here. He's got enough stickum on him.
Yeah, brother. But I tell you what, I got to give a shout out. You already did it to my business partner. Came all the way here from Johnstown to do a photo shoot. London, the original lip, hips, and fingertips. And she got her Stiller calendar coming out soon, Elle Levine, the talking machine. I can't wait to get that. But I tell you what, Elle Levine, the talking machine.
What?
I've been looking. I can't get. You know I love combat sports.
No.
I can't see no boxing. It's always canceled. I can't see no MMA. I'm looking for a brawl. So this week I went to Woodland Hills High School, see me something good. Hell of me, the talking machine. But I tell you what, hell of me, the talking machine. Then
What's he talking about?
Why are you asking me?
Then I went to God's country. You know, Monroeville, the home of the Gateway Gators, and they was voted America's #1 city. Elle Levine, the talking machine. I was so proud.
Here, first disclaimer. Bethel Park edged out Monroeville by 1 vote. We're the top 2 cities in Pennsylvania. You misread the article that I
thought it was
sent to
country.
you.
I thought you said Monroeville finished 25th, so you're lying to
No,
someone.
it was county.
It was county. Oh, no.
No, 2 cities.
In the state.
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was the country. I didn't read the article.
Yeah, well, they're just a couple of letters missing. It's county.
It's county.
Hence the disclaimer that I said.
But
We have to correct him because he gets
You
2.
said
yeah.
Bethel Park edged them out.
Yeah, by 1
Well,
vote.
that's why Gateway beat them by 50. Bethel trying to piggyback on him in Monroeville, brother. We don't like that.
Just another issue. Whatever we talk about, Monroeville's God's country. It doesn't rain. It doesn't snow there. I have friends, and my girlfriend passed away 8 years ago. She was from Monroeville, and I was there many times with bad weather. And he tells me it's always sunny in Monroeville. You know, there's a TV show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, that's a TV show. So what's in his mind?
And I got to give a shout out to my main man, Ryan. You know what I mean? The best editor I know. He can do it all. And I tell you what, my man is all swagged out. I tell you what, I done lost London already to Tony. Look at him from head to toe. No lady can resist him. And then I got the VIP of BPTV. And I tell you what, he had the best dinner you ever had at Outback. Elle Levine, compliments to the chef. Elle Levine, talking.
What did he eat?
You're really asking.
Woo!
Yeah, what did you eat?
Woo! Hey, he didn't need no A1 sauce, brother. It was already good.
Well, I'll just share let me share an Outback story so you won't be embarrassed. I used to get a filet mignon rare, but now due to my kidney transplant, I can't have any rare meat.
I didn't even get a rare meal, so
So I just wanted to
just
share
letting you know.
that I had that. I assumed rightfully that you did get nothing. I hear crickets.
Yeah, you don't have to put A1 on nothing.
Right. Thank you, Chip.
But I'm so glad to have my main man, High Diddle Diddle, Chip up the middle for a double back. And as I close out with this Elle Levine, the talking machine.
Hold it 1 second. Tony from Chick-fil-A said the race card came out early. Yes, sir.
What?
Go ahead.
I tell you what, Elle Levine, the talking machine. I'm a big fan of Canelo Alvarez. I think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. Nobody likes him because he's a redhead guy from Mexico. If he had black hair, everybody love him. They don't like in this country people with red hair. One of the greatest fighters of all time. He's fighting Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant got a big mouth. I don't like white guys that act like they black. And that's what Caleb Plant did. He embarrassed himself at the press conference. I want Canelo to punish this guy. for what he did at the press conference, elevating the talking machine. I may even buy the pay-per-view. And that's what's on my mind.
Well, I got to put this out there. Smoking Jim covers both races.
Don't you hate white guys that act black?
No, he tells us that he doesn't like black guys that act white. So this is where he's coming from. I don't care what color you are. I'll talk to you. Smoking Jim.
Just be yourself.
I told you I am. I'm worried about you, brother. But we got to end this segment, and we're going to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind?
Oh, thank you very much, Alan. It's great to be back. A little
Welcome back.
business trip to Louisville last week. Got some business done. Got to see some friends from all over the country. But there's some wild goings on last weekend over on the North Shore. Last Saturday, was that the Pitt Panthers that didn't take a dump in the river? I mean, they actually beat a team that was ranked.
H2P, baby, H2P.
Okay, so, now all the talk is that the Pitt Panthers are the odds-on favorite to win the ACC, to win the Coastal Division. Kenny Pickett is now being talked about nationally, okay?
Number one.
Not nationally, 23 touchdown passes, 1 interception this year. And the kid's got it all. The kid's got it all.
It only took 6 years.
So now Pitt is 6-1, and when I get to the end of my segment, I have a question to pose to my dear friend Jim, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So all things said, Pitt is now ranked number 17. Penn State's ranked number 20. What? Pitt's ranked number 17. Penn State's ranked number 20.
Yeah.
Now that's great, and I'm glad to see the notoriety. Even though the biggest game this decade was played at Heinz Field on Saturday, unfortunately, Pitt couldn't sell it out.
They had over 60,000.
61,000 in a
That's
stadium
rare.
that seats 65. But, that must be that new math they teach over at Gateway.
No, it was the deal they worked out with the Steelers. That's what they had. There's a deal.
But be that as it may. Now, all of that is great. All the notoriety that Pitt is getting is great. But none of it means anything if Pitt does not beat Miami this weekend. Miami was ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of the year, very highly ranked, as a matter of fact.
Right.
And the wheels fell off their bus. But, the Pitt Panthers can't rest on the laurels of what they accomplished last weekend. They have to come and take this game seriously, and every game moving forward. Unfortunately, Pat Narduzzi's teams have a tendency to get a little bit too full of themselves and read the paper clippings. And the last thing in the world that Pitt would need to do right now, while they've got the momentum, is lose to an unranked team.
Good point.
And that is what my concern is, and Pitt is notorious for breaking the hearts of its fans. They get you all built up, they pull the rug out from underneath you. So that being said, okay, H2P.
Yes.
Now, let's get to the Penn State thing. What's his name? Franklin? Yeah, well, Coach Franklin really got himself into a sticky wicket. Ranked in the top 5 and has lost his last 2 games. And what's going to happen to Coach Franklin when he ends up 5-5? He's 5-2 right now. He's got 3 games coming up against the 3 teams that are ranked in the top 8. Their combined record is 20 wins and 1 loss. They've got Ohio State this week. They've got Michigan 7-0. Michigan State 7-0. Ohio State 6-1. So, now questions are starting to arise. Is Coach Franklin a candidate for LSU? Is he a candidate for USC? Coach Tomlin put that baby to rest this afternoon at his press conference, quite eloquently, I must say.
He can't coach in the NFL. How's he going to coach in
Well,
Oh, the disclaimer, Smoking Jim, he's the winningest black coach in NFL history. I rest my case.
But anyhow, that being said, so here's my question I'm going to pose to Smoking Jim.
Uh-oh.
Does Terry Smith have the chance to be the next coach at Penn State?
He really does.
It could be reality.
He really does. I mean, I'm not saying that just because
Your friends.
he's one of the greatest players in Gateway history and came up all the way through the youth league after we recruited him and his brother out of Aliquippa. But I tell you what, man, this guy bleeds blue and white, and I think that Coach Franklin would be smart to take the USC job because don't forget last year they had a losing season, but it was written off because of COVID. They're going downhill fast. If I was him, I would take the USC job before I get fired, and Terry Smith would turn that around. He won a couple national championships at Penn State.
Whoa, you heard it here first.
He's a heck of a
See
recruiter.
Chip, thanks for asking that question.
Well, I
Smoking
know of Jim's ties to Terry.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
We've heard it.
and
We've heard it.
And I think, and if you listen to Coach Franklin's press conference today, I think he knows his ship is sinking. And it's sinking fast. And I'm telling you what, the next 3 games, he literally could go 0-3. And, you know, and if he does, a 5-5 record after you were ranked number 5 in the country could be it. I mean, he may be a great recruiter, but you know what?
You got to do it on the field.
It comes down to this. You know, you got to win. Just win, baby.
Great.
That's
great
what's on
point,
my mind.
Chip. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
Well, I'd like to start by saying that we're celebrating the 3rd week in a row without a Steelers loss, so yeah, good for that.
Oh, they didn't play?
Yeah, so
Oh,
3
okay.
weeks in a row. Yeah.
I wasn't sure the
They didn't
math.
lose- they didn't
I didn't know
lose.
if you were bringing
They didn't lose the off week.
gateway math into this. Seems like you did. Yes, thank you.
But this weekend I had the pleasure of introducing Al Oliver at an event.
What an honor.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and we got to talking afterwards, and I wanted to share a story. Speaking of Green Tree and places around that
You
area.
mean where I grew up?
Yeah, we were talking, and he was asking. Ironically, he was asking me, "Hey, where are you going for dinner after this, Nick?" Because I wasn't eating there, that's for sure. But
I heard.
but no, I was just like, "Yeah, I'll probably just go back somewhere when I get home around my hometown." He's like, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live in Green Tree, west side of Pittsburgh." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, you know what? I'll tell you, I lived there in an apartment for a little bit in 1972." And I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's really cool." And then he said this to me. He's like, "Yeah, I'll tell you what too. I had a birthday party there during the off season in '72, and I'll tell you that was the last time I saw Roberto Clemente alive. Was at that party in Green Tree, and that was really heavy to me. I was
Did
like,
you ask where?
He said he didn't remember exactly what street it was.
Darn.
I did ask him, but
Maybe it was
that
a
was-
saloon.
but that was really heavy. I'm like, wow. So I live and you lived in the place where Al Oliver last saw Roberto Clemente, and it's heavy stuff. And I just wanted to share that story because I felt kind of moved. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. But
And just to add to that, I think one of the Pirates' better outfields of the 60s and 70s era was Willie Stargell in left field, Al Oliver in center, and Roberto Clemente in right.
Whoa.
That was in 1971. They won the World Series championship that year, and that was as good an outfield as I can remember from that era.
Hey, Chip, who did Al Oliver platoon with?
He platooned at first base with Bob Robertson.
I like that.
Bob Robertson.
did you just like the word platoon?
Well, Bob Robertson was the right-handed bat, and Al Oliver was the left-handed
I'm
bat.
not
And
getting the dictionary out. I had it out 2 weeks in a row.
Al Oliver's nickname was Scoops because of the way he dug the ball out of the dirt. They
At
called him
first
Scoops
base.
Oliver.
At first base.
Well, like I said, I love Al Oliver. He's a friend of all of ours, but there's no way he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Dave Parker. That's just my opinion.
Well, and
Why
you know
not?
what?
No, we're not going there.
Wait.
No, humble
look,
story. Humble story.
Look at their statistics over their careers, and Al Oliver didn't snort the right field line.
Humble story. Come on back here. Humble story.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm really proud that Al Oliver used to live in Green Tree. I'm proud to be from Green Tree. I'm sure Al is as well. I just wanted
Amen.
to share that story because I found it heavy. I'm not going to argue about who should be in the Hall of Fame or not. and who
Are you
was-
proud of the mall in Green Tree?
And that's what's on my mind.
One store at the mall.
What's the story? What's the story?
I don't know. I forget.
Giant Eagle. I rest my case.
Woo!
what they had to go to build that, there was no land high enough to build it.
Parkway Center Mall, rest in
And
peace.
they had to build it. It took years to happen because they thought some of your neighborhoods would come out here,
And they didn't.
and they were wrong. They were wrong.
I'm really
I remember
sad. I like
those
that
days.
mall.
Thank you, Nick, and no thanks to Smoking Jim. No thanks whatsoever. And his opinion on anything baseball, he only started learning about baseball approximately 10 years ago. I don't know the coincidence.
I got Willie Stargell's autograph when I was 6.
You didn't know who he was.
No, he lost it. You
I
missed the
rode my
kicker.
bike to his house.
You lost the autograph. Where is
Yeah, I
it?
did. I lost autograph.
So what's it even mean?
Nothing.
That's what baseball means to Smoking Jim. All right, what's on my mind? Smoking Jim, at the end of my what's on my mind, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin.
Oh, yes.
Now, Tom Brady set a record, 600 touchdown passes. Mike Evans caught the 600th touchdown, and he does what he always does. You know it costs money. I'm not sure how many hundreds of dollars.
600, I think.
Okay, when you throw a football into the stands, he hands it to some lucky person, and Mike Evans is good. He does get some touchdowns. He handed it to a person there, and that was the 600th touchdown. Well, they sent one of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer people there from the group to get the football back. They had to bribe the guy, and he was willing to accept anything. He got 2 signed jerseys of Tom Brady, a helmet. He got signed helmets of Mike Evans. He got his cleats that he wore when he got the touchdown. And then Tom Brady said, I want to add to that. So the team said, we'll give him $1,000 to use in our stores. We'll give him free season tickets for the next year, 2 years, for this year and 2022. Then Tom Brady said, hold your breath, I want to give him a Bitcoin because they're worth $62,000.
Wow.
So he gave him a Bitcoin.
Wow.
And we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
You're live, Smoking.
Oh, I'm watching Facebook Live. Hey, Al Levine. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, man, I always say that Nick is the fastest rising star. This guy's the most talented I've ever seen. I tell you what, the job that Nick did at the Willie Stargell MVP banquet and the Connie Hawkins Hall of Fame were really no preparation. He wasn't prepared because, he didn't get the bios till late. It was a little unorganized,
Can you
but he was a
explain
real
that?
professional.
Can you explain what you even mean by bios?
I don't have time to go into it right now.
Four novels.
Yeah, but
No, I just wanted to explain. Smoking Jim believes you hand a book and it's a bio. Nick asked for one sheet, so here's what their compromise was. You don't get anything. I had to share that because I've worked with
Well,
them.
I have one question because I know Jim's got to run. What was the reason for Connie Hawkins not to be in his own Hall of Fame?
Best question of the night.
but hey,
May he rest in peace. I saw him play. I shook his hand. Biggest hands that I ever shook except for Joe Green's.
well, I'm a man of my word. I told y'all guys years ago, Curtis Martin, long as I'm in the City League Hall of Fame, which I'm the director of the City League Hall of Fame, Curtis Martin will never get in. Big Cat Williams will never get in. And there's quite a few
One
others.
interruption. Tony from Chick-fil-A said maybe Tom Brady should give Smoking Jim a Bitcoin. His network group gave him 1/100th of a Bitcoin. And they told him he'll be a millionaire next week.
I'm going to be rich.
He believes it, folks.
Nick,
It's high
if
risk.
Nick gives me $500, I'll flip it for him.
Nick, don't give him anything.
Oh, I haven't yet.
Don't ever.
No, you said yet.
Yeah,
Well,
ever.
My young friend.
But what's on my mind, and this may
No,
go...
no, it's fiction and fact.
Fiction. In fact, this may go over Tony's head and Nick's head and Ryan's head because they're young. But Al Levine, the talking machine, Chip, and the audience will be able to appreciate
Most
this.
of the audience.
Last week, Chip, I interviewed, and tell me if you remember him, former heavyweight champion Mike Weaver.
Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver lost his title to Mike Tyson.
I don't know about that, but I know all brothers look alike. I know all brothers look alike. But it was a whole different era.
Hold it, Smoking Jim.
Mike Tyson did beat up some guys that look like Weaver.
No.
Does that count?
I remember what Mike Tyson referred to him as. He called him Weaver the Beaver.
Really? I didn't remember that.
Well, that was in one of his books. He was still reading those comic books and little first grade and second grade
books. Let me wrap it up because I always want to get the chip. But Mike Weaver, who they called him Hercules, had a great body, great
I remember
physique.
him.
Well, he never boxed a day in his life.
But a glass chin.
Huh?
He had a glass chin.
No, not Mike Weaver. You're getting your brothers mixed up.
Ask Mike Tyson.
I got to go back and look. But hey, Mike Weaver never boxed before, right?
No.
He goes into the Marine Corps, and I salute his service. He's at a bar one day, right? He gets in an argument with this white guy at the bar.
Why do you have to bring up white guy,
Well,
black guy?
just so you know, it's a little salt and pepper. Yeah. Mike Weaver drops him with one punch, knocks him out. The next day, the Marine Corps, they don't ask you nothing. He's thinking he's getting ready to get thrown in the brig. The Marine Corps says, report, you're now a boxer. He says, I never boxed a day in my life. They says, you just knocked out the heavyweight champion of the Marine Corps. And that's how he got started. His career, his professional career, because I love me some Dwayne Bobbitt. And I don't know if you remember Dwayne Bobbitt's brother. Both of them beat him.
Yeah.
But he was 8-8, Chip. His record was 8-8. He's pretty much a journeyman fighter. He changed management. They got him real serious. He moved from 8-8 to 20-8. Then he fought Larry Holmes. A lot of people thought he beat Larry Holmes. And then that's your wife's friend from Eastland, PA. But Levine, the talking machine. Everybody loves Larry Holmes. But after that, a guy that fought in the Olympics, Big John Tate, heavyweight champ of the world, went to South Africa, beat Jerry Coetzee. John Tate's in his hometown. He fights Weaver, an easy fight, beating him for 14 and a half rounds. 8 seconds to go in the fight, Weaver catches him with a hook. John Tate was out before he hit the canvas, man. And Mike Weaver won the heavyweight championship of the world. Now, Chip said he lost it to Mike Tyson. I'm going to have to review that. But Al Levine, the talking machine, what an amazing story. He never fought before until he knocked out the heavyweight champ in the Marine Corps. But you know what he does with his days now?
No.
We got a lot in common. We hit it off real good. He goes to the casino. Al Levine, the talking machine. We're going to be rubbing elbows. And that's some fiction of fact from Bitcoin Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Well, there was no Bitcoins involved. So
Me and Brady.
Any logic between what he was saying as a sponsor, we don't do sponsors like that on the show because they're truthful sponsors. And
I'm going to try to get in touch with him. Me and him got a lot in common, me and Brady.
No, he said he was giving a Bitcoin away. You don't even have a Bitcoin. You got a fraction.
What I got?
You got a fraction of a Bitcoin. You got maybe a 1/10,000.
It's growing.
Why do you need my $500 then, huh? Yeah.
I'll flip it for you.
I'll flip it.
All right, we got to end this segment. And half of what Smoking Jim was saying at the end doesn't even mean anything, really. It's just humor.
Mike Weaver?
No, because he didn't know who beat him, and he can't verify it yet. So
Check it.
we'll find out. But we're going to go to Chip Hayner next.
Is coming up. So, trivia time. Well, welcome back, everybody. Trivia time. We always talk about, everybody's talking about the Mount Rushmore of football and the Mount Rushmore of hockey and the Mount Rushmore of baseball. Well, I was reading an article this past Sunday in the Post-Gazette by Jason Mackey. And and he was talking about the Mount Rushmore of Pittsburgh sports ownership. Pittsburgh sports owners. And, of course, without any question, the Rooney family would have to go up as one.
Yeah.
Okay? And he suggested that Barney Dreyfuss
I remember
would
Barney.
go up, as
He
the
owned
second.
great racehorses, too.
And then you'd also have to say that, Mario Lemieux could rank up there. And
What an article.
but there are two names that I think are names that should be considered for the greatest owners of a professional sports franchise in Pittsburgh that is largely forgotten.
Wow.
And the names of these two gentlemen are Cumberland Posey and Gus Greenlee, the owners
know who
of
they
the
are.
Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. These teams were instrumental in the history of the game of baseball. These teams probably had more Hall of Famers per capita than any team, with maybe the exception of the Yankees,
Right.
in the history of baseball. Cumberland Posey was born in Homestead, and he took ownership of the Homestead Grays, who were a perennial champion. Gus Greenlee was a businessman who bought the Pittsburgh Crawfords in 1931, and over the next 15 or so years, probably had one of the best baseball teams in the United States.
Chip, here's a trivia fact for you. He built a ballpark, a steel ballpark that sat about 7,000 people. He bought a field, put it up. He was a businessman, bookmaker, but he used his money for good things in the community.
Crawford Field up in the Hill District.
Yes,
he
and
did.
it was famous because I studied a lot of that stuff
Well,
being
and
from
being
the
that
hill.
you were from the Lower Hill.
Yeah. I
but-
learned that and heard those stories, and I researched it. It's just amazing what the black gentlemen did with their money.
There was the Crawford Grill.
Crawford Grill and legendary
You know,
meeting point for jazz and blues and sports people.
But as owners,
Sorry to interrupt you
No,
there.
as owners of their respective franchises,
Yeah.
they did more for their sport and more for the African American community, and it's a shame that most of the ball players on those teams never got the national notoriety until after they were dead.
Right.
Because they never got the opportunity to play in the major leagues. Some of them did.
Right. Look at
Josh
Satchel
Gibson
Paige,
being one. I mean, Satchel Paige actually got to play in the major leagues.
Yeah.
But there was Oscar Charlton. There was Cool Papa Bell.
Oh.
The list goes on and on. So I think we should always take a moment to reflect on, you can't ever forget about the past.
Right.
The people that built the foundation for the sports town that Pittsburgh is. And, we're highly critical of all our sports franchises.
Right.
More so the ownership than anything else as of late.
But they were some good owners.
But we're quite spoiled in Pittsburgh. We've, I think in my lifetime, we've seen 15 or 16 championships, world
Yes.
championships, 1 in basketball, 3 in baseball, 5 in hockey.
Oh, yeah.
6 in football, so
It adds up.
yeah, it does add up, and Pittsburgh, they don't accept. We're not the kind of city that accepts second best. So, for my trivia this week, you want to learn a little bit about them? Go to the Sunday's Post-Gazette. Great article, great read. If you don't feel like going back to the Post-Gazette, go to the Wikipedia pages. Cumberland Posey, Gus Greenlee. 2 icons in the Pittsburgh sports scene.
Well, since I worked at the Post-Gazette for a long time, I second that. I also second the Wikipedias on both of those gentlemen, because just the history of what they did for decades helped so many people in those neighborhoods with great baseball players. So thank you, Chip. We're going to move on.
Well, the opinion I was going to give today involves Smoking Jim. He's not here anymore. So,
What happened to him? He walked out.
that was probably the least subtle exit I've ever seen. It
I
was
don't know if
played
we
up.
caught it on camera.
I hope not. But I'll switch to another subject. The World Series.
Okay.
I'm a fan of the Braves at this point because I don't necessarily like the Astros. But I will say this. I've gained some respect for a team who got accused of cheating.
No.
And found guilty.
Who was cheating?
They were cheating.
Okay, not accused.
Sorry, that's true.
They were
terminology.
convicted of being cheating.
They were found guilty of cheating by the league and subsequently disciplined for that action.
But
No, they were not. No, the
coaches.
The coaches were disciplined. The players involved in the cheating
The
scandal.
team overall, I'm sorry. All right, the players weren't. The team was, and the coaches, yes. Okay. But I will say that after years, though, of them still having success, I think they still made playoffs. Yeah, 2020 and 2021 now. Now they're going to the World Series again. I've gained a level of respect for the talent that I've seen there, and I'm not going to blindly hate them just because of that scandal anymore. And I think it's time to get rid of it. The trash can memes and the trash can themed taunting has run its course, and the Astros are still legitimate. So I'm gonna get off of hating them specifically for the scandal. I still don't like them because I'm a fan of the Yankees in the American League, and they beat the Yankees twice in the championship series in recent history, and that's why I don't like them. But still have some respect for them. They were a team that struggled earlier on in the decade. They got a bunch of first-round picks, and those first-round picks have developed and have
They
blossomed.
actually lost over 100 games 3 seasons in a row.
Right, they were the worst team in baseball for 3 straight years. So that also gives you some optimism as well. Maybe the Pirates, with all the big picks that they're getting, will also blossom and develop into eventual multiple World Series contenders and eventually maybe one. So we'll see. But don't disrespect the Astros anymore for the scandal. It's time to let that go. They've proven themselves beyond a one year of cheating.
Well, I appreciate your opinion. I disagree with how baseball handled that.
Oh, so do I, yeah.
And they did it totally wrong, just like they went to 7-inning doubleheaders. They did that totally wrong. So they do things that aren't really right with what's currently happening and what the history of baseball is. And when you break the rules and you get caught, teams should lose a trophy. Players should be suspended or banned from the sport like they previously did with Judge Lanshaw. So things should have happened.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Yeah. So I mean, those things should have happened, and that's my opinion. I'll take. And for the World Series, I never liked the chop, and I'm not happy with the Astros. So I have no skin in the game. So I appreciate that.
Well,
Chip, your thoughts?
My skin in the game is one of my favorite pitchers when he pitched for the Pirates, who almost quit baseball because he was having trouble figuring it out, who finally figured it out and has become a quality pitcher the last 6 or 8 years. Charlie Morton's starting tonight for the Atlanta Braves, and
that's a great point.
He was always one of my favorites when he was here, and as he's moved forward, he's never given me a reason not to continue liking him. And I tell you what, if you want to watch a master at his craft, watch the movement on the pitches that he throws.
Yeah.
And he can crank it up to 96, 97, 98 miles an hour, but just the absolute movement on the ball, it almost seems unnatural. It seems unnatural, but
no, I'll enjoy watching the game, but I don't really like either team. So that's my history.
To that point, it's fascinating too. He's pitching against the team that he won the World Series with.
Right, and I do like the Braves in 6.
There we go. All right, we're going to go next to my segment. On location. No, the video was slower, but I understand a little delay. Not much happening. We're supposed to do USS Fight Academy again sometime in November. So we'll look forward to that. And any other boxing we might get a call on. They've done some Golden Gloves. We didn't get a call on that. And we'll just check it out. So we're just going to go to sports in general, like the Penguins play tonight.
Yeah.
You got World Series tonight. Let's do a little Penguin talk.
Let's do a little Penguin talk. The Penguins have absolutely none of their stars playing, and it seems that they're playing better as a team.
They look better
than they do with the stars. Thinking of all the guys that were not in the lineup skating on Saturday night, and they crushed a very good Toronto Maple Leafs team 7-1. Now tonight, they're playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions who have yet to win a game this year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But if you notice what's going on in our division, and last year it was kind of fun because all we did was play teams in our own division because of the COVID.
Right.
Well, we really haven't played any teams in our division yet, but everybody has a winning record. There's very few losses.
Right. I
so
noticed
it's going to be a very competitive division this year. Hopefully, Sid will be back soon. Chris Letang's out with the COVID, positive COVID test, and hopefully he can get back on his feet again relatively quickly.
Well, he does stay in super shape, so I would think. We'll see what happens. You never know with this COVID.
No, you never do. So, you've got that. You have that going on. Another thing to talk about, and Nick touched on this, but, the Pittsburgh Pirates across the game of baseball are being recognized as having completely rebuilt their minor league system. And they've got the prospects for the future are very bright for the Pirates right now. The only unfortunate thing that I would like to bring to people's attention is that I fear for the season next year, because December 2nd, the collective bargaining agreement expires.
Right.
And the owners and the Players Association can't even agree on what day of the week it is, let alone come to an agreement. And there are major differences between the issues moving forward. And I'll do some research on that. We can talk about that more.
Sure.
But the Major League Baseball Players Union is the strongest union in professional sports.
Yes, they are.
It makes the NFLPA look like a bunch of buffoons. So
well, the NFL, Players Association accepted a first offer, and anybody that's negotiated anything knows you never accept the first offer. So, Chip, your point is 100% correct.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that there'll be a work stoppage with Major League Baseball.
It's looking like it.
I think that would be the worst thing that could happen to the sport, but far be it from the owners and the players to ever be concerned about what's in the best interest of the sport.
That's a good point in itself,
because they're both interested in lining their own pockets. So
when you're billionaires, you want to hold on
well,
to that money.
here's what I've always said: when billionaires get into a squabble with millionaires, the B's always beat the M's.
Oh yeah, no, it's no doubt about it. No, it'll be interesting what Charrington's done to our minor leagues. Like you said, the Single A won a championship.
Low A won the championship. High A played for the championship.
Second.
When they took it to 5 games, it was a 5-game series. They lost in the 5th game, but the strongest group of prospects that we have were in the High A Greensboro Grasshoppers.
No, that gives us some future and potential, and we needed it. We can be critical of what we see, during the season, but they are building for the future, and you described how the Astros lost 100 games.
And I heard an interview with Jim Leland today.
Oh.
And they were talking about how do we evaluate Derek Shelton. And, he's like, okay, it's kind of hard, to really truly evaluate him because he doesn't have a lot of talent to work with. But the one thing that he did say is that this team does play all 9 innings.
Yeah.
And that talks to the culture that Derek Shelton is developing there. And regardless of the lack of talent, some nights they looked bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. There's other nights they competed, but whether they looked bad or whether they looked good and competed, they still played 9 innings. They never gave up, and that says a lot to the kind of manager that Derek Shelton is. Right. If you get him more talent, I'm interested to see what he can do with it.
Sure, and he did come from the Tampa Bay.
Tampa and Minnesota.
Right.
Minnesota. He was the hitting coach for Minnesota
I remember
when they
that.
set the major league record for home runs in a season.
Right. So there's potential there, and he has a background. Like I told my son, watching these games, which I didn't watch one full game all year, I'll tell you that much. But I turned on many a game as they were coming back from large deficits to come back and tie it and potentially win those games. And Chip pointed out, what was their record towards the end of the season? A winning record the last 60 days.
No, they. I watched a lot of games this year. I went to 22 of them this year.
Yeah.
And you can, if you want, bellyache about the ownership of the team. But I can tell you this: in 60 years that I've been on this planet, I have never once rooted for an owner of any professional sports. I root for the product that's put on the field.
Chip,
You
I
know,
couldn't
I
agree
don't,
with you
I,
more.
I don't
Yeah.
care who the owner is. I really don't. I mean, I would wish they would be anonymous, but
Right.
social media has turned Bob Nutting into a pariah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He will bring a winner to Pittsburgh. I'm sure of it.
Well, I don't know about that. But I
You can
I
say
think-
something. We're winding down.
Yeah,
Nick.
no, I think you want to hold the owners accountable if an investment isn't being made. Because if the owner's starting to be selfish and not investing in the product on the field, then I have concerns. But I think that, though it's been slow, there is a change coming, and I have some optimism. But owners should be held accountable.
Yeah, but you know what? The owners are held accountable to their shareholders, and don't you think that the owner? I mean, the owner doesn't he have the right to invest his money the way he sees fit?
Sports is a little different.
No, it's not. You own a professional franchise.
All
you
right,
own a
all right.
professional franchise.
This will be
Yeah.
for another day. You two can agree to disagree on your opinions there. We'll deal with facts another day. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. See you next week. Thanks for watching us on Facebook Live. Please stay Joey strong.